Test, test, mic test. Good evening, sim racing fans across the globe, and welcome back to LSRTV as we close in on the conclusion. And welcome you to our broadcast tonight from the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway. Jacob Seelman and Justin Rosenau in the Inside Sim Racing Broadcast Tower as we get set to bring you all the action of tonight's race, just a shade under 200 miles around this very fast mile-and-a-half under the lights. And round 8 of 10 for these Outlaw trucks. Just going to be 2 to go after tonight, Justin. And, you know, we've been talking about him all winter season across both the Xfinity Car and the Icebreaker Series and this Outlaw Truck Series. Is there anything that Daniel Eberhardt can't do?
I really don't think so. He's got a lot of momentum lined up, and you know he's really doing everything he can to virtually put himself up towards the topic of conversation rolling into the upcoming Full Throttle Cup Series. If he does decide to enter that, and with his runs through the Icebreaker Series here and in the Outlaw Truck Series that's running here tonight, I really think that Eberhardt can really take that next step and kind of be like Jeff Ward was last year. He was the driver that kind of came out of almost nowhere and just flat out dominated all the series in RSR, and really going to have to see what's going to come from him tonight. He's sitting second on the board. CJ Lavere just eclipsed him just barely, but as it stands, about 4 minutes left to go here in the qualifying session. Let's see if Eberhardt can go knock down another pole.
And it's not just Eberhardt that's been quick. I mean, you look across this series, we've had a lot of guys that have been quick, from Chad Coleman to Chad Cole, who is looking for an Outlaw Truck Series championship that he's never gotten his hands on. Stefan Marinak, the defending champ in this series, has been quick. And you even talk about somebody like CJ Lavere, who, as you said, just jumped up to the top of the board. He's been looking for a resurgence in RSR. This would be a great way to do it, and we know he's capable of being extremely quick.
Oh yeah, he is. You know, took a little bit of time off from RSR competition here in about the second half of the year. So the guys from the Wolfpack here showing strong here. CJ Lavere on the pole, teammate in last season's champion Stefan Marinak. He's sitting on the edge of the top 10. So, you know, the Wolfpack drivers are really getting after it here in the Outlaw Truck Series. Going to see if they can come back around and really knock down something for the Cup Series upcoming.
And let's take a look at the points for this Outlaw Truck Series right now. You'll see them on the screen. Chad Cole, the championship leader, in search of that last elusive championship that he has not yet quite knocked down. 11 points in front of Mike Kelly and 18 in front of the rookie Ross Cato. Eberhardt's got some work to do. 26 points out coming into tonight. 3 races to go. He's got a shot at it. It's not going to be easy. Tim Matthews rounding out the top 5 as we got about 2.5 minutes to go in this qualifier. Is this Cole's championship to lose, Justin?
Well, never say never, because we've seen a few instances where somebody thought they had a safe lead and then really just trying to do the best they can to just hold on to it, and then something happens, and the next thing you know, somebody leaps on that. So really, 26 points, not really that safe, because all it is one DNF, and the other guy getting a victory, and he's right back in the thick of it.
We have got just under 2 minutes to go on the clock right now, so we'll reset the starting grid for you here in just a couple of minutes. Right now, though, as we always do, we get set to kick things off tonight on LSR TV, and to do that, we're going to throw it down trackside and open things up with tonight's opening ceremonies and the performance of our national anthem. Let's go trackside.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in still there? Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
We bring you back topside and get ready to throw the red and black flags on this qualifier. The clock going to expire right here, and everybody going to get their last trip around to see if they can't better their times. But it looks like it is going to be the lap that CJ Lavere put up a few minutes ago, 28.895, that is going to hold on for the pole here in qualifying. Thomas George's final lap not going to be enough to move him up the board. He is going to slot in 6th. And you've got a really good mix up here in these top 6 or 8 spots on the grid. And let's take you through our LSRTV starting grid right now, Justin, because we have got a lot that we're going to sort out, I think, here early. CJ Lavere, as we mentioned, in that Ford truck, going to be on the pole position tonight. Alongside him, the driver who sits 4th in the championship, looking to make it a 3rd win on the season, Daniel Eberhardt in the 89.
Feast or famine for him. Right behind him in the 3rd spot, inside row number 2, going to be the 7 of Cody Gibson. His outside, the 54 of Tim Matthews.
5th tonight going to be the 66 of Brian Harvey. In 6th going to be tonight's in-race reporter, the 94 Snap-on machine, Thomas George.
7 to the 8 of Chad Cole. 17 of Bobby Wetzel starts 8th outside.
9th to the 34 of Ken Baum Jr. 10th going to be the 96 Stefan Marinak, the defending champ.
11 to the 68 of Scott Simley. 87 of Justin Michael will start 12th.
13th going to be Ross Cato. 14th to the 21 of Matt Lacrosse, and completing the top 15 going to be the 24 of Mike Kelly. 2nd in points as the rest of the grid rolls on your screen. We're going to talk to tonight's in-race reporter, Thomas George, looking for a victory.
I heard somebody up there, but Mike's cut out, so...
We'll try this again. You got a copy, my friend?
Got you loud and clear.
All right. As you've said to us for Charlotte Motor Speedway, your favorite racetrack, and these trucks, you've been good here. What's it going to take tonight? You start decently up on the grid.
Tonight it's just going to be a matter of putting yourself, in every race, you're going to put yourself in the right place to win at the right time, and thing with these trucks is it's going to be a lot more pack racing, but I think if we can get some long green flag runs, the tires will wear off, and hopefully we'll be able to space out the field here and get some pit stops going as well.
And Thomas, you've really had some incidents that really have not gone your way on the racetrack. You alluded to it here just a second ago, staying clean and, all that business. Are you really focused on getting to the front to stay out of the melees because of the draft or stuff here in effect, or is it really just try to find a safe spot at the front or the back?
Just right now I think my strategy is just to figure out what my pace is, see where the truck handles compared to the other guys. I mean, I'm usually always fast here, so I have a good idea of what it's going to take, but every race here is different in some regards, so it's just going to be a matter of knowing where to be at the right time, but if I have my choice, I'd rather stay at the front the entire race.
We'll let you get to it. Best of luck.
Thank you, bud.
As we get set to go green here tonight, the field working its way into turn number 3, and as always, we're glad you're with us here on LSR TV for tonight's coverage of round 8 of the RSR Outlaw Truck Series presented by Hippie's Paint Shop. As the field works off turn number 4, that iRacing Ford Mustang GT pace car eases its way onto pit road. The field going to flash underneath the American Ethanol green flag, and CJ Lavere leads him down to the line. We are underway from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Lavere jumps out in front to the early lead. He'll take it by 3 truck lengths, in the immediate battle going to be Daniel Eberhardt versus the 7. Cody Gibson makes the move for second early in turn 2.
Yeah, and Eberhardt really trying to claw his way up around the outside, and you got the 7 of Cody Gibson really trying to take advantage of the inside line, and it looks like it's going to do so, bringing along the 54 Tim Matthews, and trying to bring along the 66 of Brian Harvey as the field files out of turn 4 for the first time. Going to be CJ Lavera going to lead the first lap in this one, and Cody Gibson and the rest of the top 5 look like they all try to get single file as everybody from about 10th on back really trying to mix it up and get to where the preferred bottom line is.
Yeah, bottom lane going to be the key here. And you look out in front, you've got the HPS Motorsports, what was the Wolfpack in 2015. A little bit of rebranding here recently versus Steel Horse versus a hard-charging Daniel Eberhardt. As I started to say, where did he come from? Huge run off turn 4 to make the move, and he wants second back away from Cody Gibson. Quick run to the inside of the racetrack, and the driver who's looking for his 3rd win on the season tonight inside down the back straightaway.
Yeah, and he's going to go wheel to wheel with Gibson, and Gibson's just going to power around the outside and shut the door on Eberhardt as Gibson tries to use that draft effect to pull up to the back bumper of CJ Lavera, but Gibson now going to try to file back in line. Not quite there, but Eberhardt still strong right on the bumper of Gibson as they go into turn number 1. Eberhardt still trying to find any way that he can to get around him because he's looking to the outside, looking to the inside, Jacob. Eberhardt really aggressive here in the opening laps.
How about a battle behind these guys? Up around the 6th position, Thomas George, our in-race reporter, has it, and right behind him, they're wheel-to-wheel for 7th as Chad Cole in the Lymphoma Awareness number 8 goes with that neon green and black number 17 of Bobby Wetzel, and Wetzel trying to hold the position. He actually held it at the line on that top lane of the racetrack, but Cole looking to the inside, and you're going to burn your tires up, Justin, really quickly if you keep doing that. And these two still wheel-to-wheel for position is now ahead of them. We got a really good battle shaping up for 5th between Tim Matthews, Brian Harvey.
Yeah, Brian Harvey had the 4th spot. Tim Matthews is just doing whatever he can to try to get to the outside of that car with hippiespaintshop.com across the front banner because they do sponsor the Outlaw Truck Series here. Matthews going to try to go wheel-to-wheel on the outside quarter panel of Brian Harvey and going to get a little bit of momentum now as they file onto the back straightaway. Harvey's going to slide up and block that momentum advance because the 94 Thomas George and Bobby Wetzel. Oh, almost big contact. There's Wetzel and George about banging doors there in 3 and 4.
Yeah, they're not afraid to trade some paint here in these Outlaw trucks as now Stefan Marinak, another one of those HPS Motorsports guys, moves up to the inside, drops in lockstep with Thomas there as Marinak running in 8th, going for that 7th position here now as they work down the back straightaway. He's going to have the advantage on Wetzel as they head into turn number 3. Meanwhile, though, up front, the lead, Cody Gibson, CJ Lavere going at it. Gibson on the high lane going to make the move, stick, and take the lead here with 7 complete.
Gibson going to be the first lead change here, 2nd leader of the event. Lavere's going to hold tough on the bottom side, and Eberhardt's just basically trying to shove that Zeus-sponsored Chevrolet all the way up to the front of the pack. He's just about on his bumper, and Eberhardt almost bought the farm there. He got a little bit tight, had to back out of it, almost clobbered that turn 2 wall, and as Eberhardt now tries to go to the bottom, is going to offer a little bit more support to Lavere, who's looking to retake the lead out of 4. Coming to the stripe this time, Gibson's going to get him, but it's going to be just by a skosh.
2 1,000ths of a second. You want to talk about a skosh, that's it right there. Lavere to the bottom of the racetrack in that Speed Force number 4 machine, trying to make it work, but that high lane momentum, Justin, I'm impressed, honestly, that Cody Gibson is making this work like he is on the outside lane of the racetrack. He's looking like he is, you'd be burning up those left side tires running the way he's running right now.
Going on board Daniel Eberhardt, looking at this battle for the lead, and really, I think if you're on the inside and somebody's really sticking there on the outside, I really think those guys are going to be the ones burning the right side tires off of these trucks, and really, because you got to pinch that car down ever so hard, and it's going to be more dramatic once we get later into the run. Almost 10 laps in the books already here at the Queen City. The beast of the Southeast, that is Charlotte Motor Speedway. Lavere going to get the advantage now out of turn number 4. He's going to nose ahead, make another lead change in the books. Just 2 already here in the last 10 laps. And really, that's all we've had so far, Jacob. And these guys still going wheel to wheel. And I'm really impressed with Gibson. Can he keep this run up? And if you're Lavere, you got to find a way to get around him because he's going to burn your tires up before you know it.
Yeah, exactly right. Cody Gibson has really made this fun, and if you're Daniel Eberhardt, you got to be sitting here going, where am I supposed to go? I want to get out front too, but there's no room to go anywhere.
Oh, no, there isn't, and then that's allowing the 66 of Brian Harvey to kind of claw his way up to be the fourth truck in this battle for the lead, and LeVere still riding tough on the bottom side. Gibson, to his credit, he's giving it everything that he has, trying to go to the high side to get it done. And Eberhardt just trying to pick a lane, trying to push somebody along, trying to make a gap for himself. Still has to sit there and ride tight in third, but Thomas George just got around Stefan Marinak and Tim Matthews for that fifth spot, and he's continuing his run now up towards the front of this pack as the battle for the lead really starting to stack up the top 5, 6, 8 race trucks.
Yeah, this battle has been very good so far. You've got 4 trucks virtually under a blanket now as CJ LeVere goes back to the front of the field. And Eberhardt, I think if he can get clear of Cody Gibson right here, Justin, he's going to have a good shot to go and take the lead, because I think, honestly, that 89 truck is the fastest piece on the property so far. And you'll see he cuts up, clears Gibson for that runner-up position as they cross the stripe. Now he's going to go to work on the race leader.
Yeah, he just put the old proverbial slide job on Gibson there through 3 and 4. Just ducked to the bottom, slid up across his nose, and Gibson a little bit of trouble. Looks like he collected the back straightaway wall a little bit. That's going to allow the 66 Mobil 1 sponsored Chevrolet Brian Harvey to work to his inside as these two go wheel to wheel. But Eberhardt looking to the inside of CJ LeVere on the front straightaway. These two nose to tail going now into turn number 1. Can Eberhardt finally put his move on to take the race lead for the first time tonight?
He's trying to. It's been 15 laps already. And still behind them, though, they're side by side for that third spot. Cody Gibson just not ready to give up that high lane. He's making it work right now, but it's about to stack up the field and make the battle for third a whole lot of fun. George is there. Marinak's there. Cole is coming. Matthews there. It's going to be a 6-car battle for P3 here in just a couple of minutes.
You want to talk about a big stack up? That's about 0.3 of a second per lap that Gibson and Harvey is holding up the rest of the guys, because Eberhardt, he's looking to the inside of CJ LeVere now for the lead. Going to tuck back in line, but the longer he stays behind LeVere, he's saving his tires, and he's trying to pull away from this gaggle of trucks right behind him as Harvey going to finally clear the 7 of Gibson, trying to bring along the 94 Snap-on Chevrolet of Thomas George, and George going to go almost clear of the 7 truck of Gibson, trying to bring along Marinak as well and the rest of the gang, as Gibson's tires looks like he's finally starting to fall off now as we just completed 16 laps.
And I'm really not surprised that you knew eventually he was going to be generating so much heat in the tires on that outside lane that it was going to start to give up. Justin Michaels coming through in the 87 now on the bottom, the 68 Daytona winner. Scott Simley making it happen. But I've got my eyes on a driver who did not post a qualifying time. The number 1, though, back has already worked his way into the 20th position. Nesquik Chevrolet of Alex Bergeron gonna try to continue working his way forward. I really think that this is a young driver who needs a caution flag. He's a rookie in this series, Justin. Almost went to victory lane at Daytona back in the season opener, but he's been very consistent. Top 5s, top 10s, and the young Canadian trying to make it happen and get something going. He's way to come, but he's got about 100 more laps to make something happen with it.
Oh yeah, he's got a lot of time to get there, and he's really just trying to race respectfully around these guys. Had to start back to back. In fact, he showed up just at the tail end of the qualifying session as he's trying to get around the 84 Jimmy North and the 33 of Aaron Bennett as well, and he's trying to work around the 46 of Mark Bratcher and the 1 of Bergeron, really making a lot of slightly aggressive moves, let's call it, Jacob, but he's really putting on a show here back in the pack.
He is, and while he's doing that up front, the leaders continue to run out in front of this field. It's like LeVere and Eberhardt have a trailer hitch between the two of them. They've run out 1.3 seconds away from the rest of the field as we come to complete lap 20 of 125. Behind these two, it's Thomas George, Brian Harvey, and Stefan Marinak, the rest of your top 5 in round 8 of the RSR Outlaw Truck Series, powered by Hippie's Paint Shop from Charlotte Motor Speedway. We've got more ahead, but we're going to take a quick pause here on LSRTV. So from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, you're watching Live Sim Racing TV.
lions are notorious for their voracious appetites, they spend a great deal of time feeding other creatures. In fact, lions will take great care to ensure there's plenty to go around. As you can see, they keep giving with utter ferocity. Bravo, lions, and bon appetit. Do good, be a lion.
Welcome back to LSRTV, the voice of sim racing, and as you can see, under caution for the first time tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway because of what you're seeing on the split screen here is basically a single truck incident, Justin. Problems for Mike Kelly, who comes into tonight in the top 5 in points, and trouble in turn 2. I guess I don't want to say calamity corner yet, but we see a lot of things break loose in turn 2 here at Charlotte, and that looked to be exactly what happened to that number 24 machine.
Yeah, the 24 Mike Kelly looks like he just had the air taken off of the spoiler on that race truck and just lost the handle on it coming down the back straightaway and clobbered that little abutment on the back straightaway head on for that driver, and that's going to probably end his night. Already 2 laps down on the racetrack, and Bobby Wetzel was the driver that Mike Kelly was racing with on the racetrack at the moment. But underneath the caution flag for you, pit stops happened just as we were getting ready to come back on the air, and Thomas George with a quick, speedy pit stop. He's going to gain the lead here over CJ LeVere. Daniel Eberhardt going to restart potentially 3rd, Stefan Marinak 4th, and Brian Harvey 5th. But I do not believe what I'm seeing on my screen. It looks like Marinak's going to be the one that claims 3rd, as Eberhardt looks like he's going to restart 4th.
I'm buying that, and lights are off on the American Childhood Cancer Organization Ford Mustang GT pace car as we work into turn number 3, and we are going to go back to green with exactly 100 laps remaining, 150 miles to go here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and Thomas George out in front at Charlotte could be a scary omen for the rest of this field because he's good here and he's not afraid to go to the front and stay there. Pace car's gone. Field edges back to the green flag and flashes across the start-finish line as CJ LeVere really holds up the 89 of Eberhardt. LeVere did not get a good restart, drops to the bottom of the racetrack and falls in front of his HPS teammate Stefan Marinak. They work into turns 1 and 2, and George races away with the lead by 3 truck lengths.
Critically coming to the green flag in the restart zone, LeVere and George banged doors there just before the green flag flew, and I really think that may be something to watch here in the next couple of laps. Whereas George really raced aggressively to defend the lead over LeVere, who got a little bit aggressive and kind of come down on him, squeezed him on the restart. And we're going to have to see what happens here as LeVere battles for the lead, looks to the inside of George, and George is going to power down the banking and shut the door on him. Eberhardt slides to the inside of the 96 of Stefan Marinak. Eberhardt really doing his best to roll that inside line, and he's going to do it. He's going to beat Marinak down to the bottom, door to door, and wheel to wheel with Marinak for that 3rd spot now out of turn number 4. George LeVere, and then we'll give the edge to Marinak at the stripe over Eberhardt.
How about the run up through the field for Justin Michael, who's just behind these two? The 87 truck up to the top 5 now. Just behind these guys, about 5 truck lengths, 6 truck lengths back of the race leader. He's looking for a hole, and now Eberhardt's looking to shove LeVere all the way through. He was literally on that rear deck lid as they were working into turn number 3. To the top, to the bottom. Eberhardt's going wherever he can find a lane, and Stefan Marinak up the outside is going after the lead in turn number 2. He wants a piece of Thomas George, trying to do the same thing that Cody Gibson did.
Yeah, Marinak going to really roll that outside line. He's going to go wheel to wheel on the back straightaway, really using that run off the banking out of turn number 2, and he's going to roll it to the outside. Eberhardt going to try to stick his nose in the middle. What's going to happen? Almost 3 wide out of 4. Eberhardt had to back out of it just a hair, and that's going to allow Stefan Marinak to just clip George at the line. He's edged out into the lead all by his lonesome, and Eberhardt with the power move around George around the outside. Those two use the outside line like we have yet to see here tonight, Jacob, and that's really going to see if that bodes well for George, as he's going to have his hands full. LeVere working to the inside of him.
Yeah, I think Thomas is starting to, he was very good right off the gun, but now it's starting to fall back a little bit into traffic as LeVere spot. Justin Michael going for 4th, and we continue to watch this with now 30 laps complete. The top 2 have broken away once again. This time, though, instead of what we saw earlier with LeVere and Eberhardt, now it's Marinak and Eberhardt, so one of the other teammates making it happen. But Daniel trying to track him down. It's a truck length, maybe less, off turn 4. We're about a quarter distance now here as they put 31 laps up on the board, and Eberhardt looks like he wants the lead again.
Eberhardt going to challenge Marinak, looking to his outside, sniffs the outside quarter panel on that race truck, and they're going to go side by side on the back straightaway. Eberhardt going to try to use that draft to roll around the outside of Marinak, just like he did with George, and going through turns 3 and 4. I'd say let's give the edge to Daniel Eberhardt, because he's got that thing rolling on the high side and just clears them with a big power move to the front here. Eberhardt to the lead on lap 32.
That wasn't just a power move, Justin. That was going, gone, goodbye. That truck, whatever they were able to make happen on the pit stops, Eberhardt looks like he's been shot out of a cannon, and he's ready to drive off the front of this train. 5 truck lengths almost out in front of Marinak in the span of a lap and a half, and now Marinak falling back a little bit further. I think the teammates, he and LeVere, getting ready to do battle for that runner-up spot in a minute, but the 89 looks like he's found something that he likes, and that Chevy Silverado is taking no prisoners right now.
No, it's not, but somebody looks like they got a boat anchor on the back end of their race truck. That's the 94, Thomas George, the in-race reporter here. And I gotta say, trouble. George almost goes around off the front end of the 68 of Scott Simley. The 90 of Ross Cato going to clear that mess along with the 8 of Chad Cole. Tough luck for George, but man, I just said it. He had a boat anchor tied to that thing because he was stacking everybody up. And I know George, not a very happy driver right now.
No, he... take a look at the replay right here, and it's that truck looks evil right now. I don't know. We'll get a check on it and see if maybe he only took 2 tires on the pit stop. That's the only thing I can think of right now, Justin, for him to be falling off this badly, this quick.
Yeah, that's something that came to my mind, just seeing And for the lead, it looks like Eberhardt and Marinak going to go side by side. He brought along his teammate C.J. LeVere. Marinak to the front, LeVere to second. Eberhardt still trying to hold on to third. But how about the 87 of Justin Michael? He's right there lurking in the shadows. He's easily in fourth, and the front 4 are broken away by almost 2 whole seconds over the 5th place driver, Scott Simley, in the 68. So it's the 4 of LeVere, and caution flag on the speedway.
Yeah, that's a much-needed caution, I think, for Daniel Eberhardt. He got very, very loose, and that's what gave the lead. It just lost all the momentum off turn 4 and allowed Marinak and LeVere to go and do battle with him, but trying to look at the caution, and it's going to be the 84 machine. Trouble for Jimmy North, and I don't think he's going to be the only truck involved in this. The 9 of Anthony DeBarro, it looks like, got a piece of it as well, along with the 04 of Rodney Perry. So tough luck for several race trucks here with now 37 laps complete, but Jimmy North bringing out caution number 2 in that Lowe's Cobalt Chevrolet Silverado here, and it does give us a chance to breathe, Justin, as we take a look at the replay. This was a much-needed caution for a couple of guys. Thomas George, and I think even Daniel Eberhardt all of a sudden as well.
Yeah, after all the mad scramble we've just seen here on this first restart of the race, I think this is a well-needed breather, and if you're Eberhardt, I'm looking to try to figure out what went wrong there on those 4 sets of tires there. Thomas George really needs to get some fresh tires on that machine, because I really think he took 2. And as leaders come down pit road, the 96 of Marinak going to lead everybody up here. The 89 of Eberhardt and everybody coming down pit road this time. Marinak going to be the first one to get to his pit box. He's going to nail his marks perfectly. And the 90 of Ross Cato is going to overshoot his pit box by quite a bit. That's going to be a slow stop for him. Going to keep our eyes up on towards the front of the pack there. The 89 of Eberhardt right sides up on that machine. LeVere's truck in the 4, he's getting tires on a little bit faster. Marinak going to beat everybody off the pit road, but a very slow stop for Eberhardt. I think he's got a little bit of damage on his machine. And Scott Simley, a 13.97 second pit stop. Oh, and he took 2 tires. Oh, man, that's going to be... Oh, Scott Bolster, excuse me, 2 tires on that machine. Simley with a very fast 4-tire pit stop. Jacob, we got a big lineup shakeup going on here with pit stops here. I really think Eberhardt got a big piece of the wall because he had a very slow pit stop.
Well, he's not the only one. Thomas George, I just clicked over to the radio on the 94 team and was able to get a listen onto what happened with that machine, and he said there was actually some contact with the 4 of C.J. LeVere that crinkled up his right front fender, and that was what was causing his truck to literally look like it had a boat anchor because of the aerodynamics. Justin, he's spent a little extra time on pit road getting that fender banged back out, getting the necessary repairs made, and he was a little incensed over the radio a few minutes ago and basically said if he gets back to the Ford truck tonight, get ready for some fireworks.
I thought we were going to hear something like that out of George because I remember I called that out there on the restart, LeVere and George not exchanging the most pleasant of pleasantries here on that restart. And how about Eberhardt? Comes into the pit second, leaves in 21st. So Eberhardt has a long distance to go. He's certainly got a fast race truck, but that's a long way to go, especially with the mad gaggle of race trucks we've seen already tonight, as we just coming around this time to put 40 laps in the books here once the field comes around to the front straightaway. I really think that it's anybody's guess if Eberhardt can keep his nose clean, because from what we've seen, attrition is really starting to take his toll, and if you're in the back of the pack like this, I don't like his chances at the moment.
Well, Daniel Eberhardt does, too, make a pretty good statement of running his way back through a field when the time is right. Marinac, LeVere, and Simley, the top 3, though, Justin, all 3 teammates at HPS Motorsports, so they get to work together a little bit on this restart to try and make something happen. I like their chances now a lot more than I did 20 laps ago.
Well, yeah, I mean, these guys are in great position. They've shown that they do have strong race trucks, and if you're LeVere and Marinac and Simley, those 3 drivers, you really need to time this restart just right because you got a strong driver who's shown himself very well here throughout the early part of this race, the 87 and Justin Michael. He's going to restart 4th, and don't forget about Chad Cole in that 8 either, because he is the all-time leading winner in the real sim racing realm of the world, and those 2 drivers right there looking to crack their way up into the top 3 once we go back underneath the green flag.
Yeah, and we get set to do that again with the 3 teammates out in front of the field, and an update, too, from the 89 camp. Eberhardt, pit road for some damage repair, said he, too, made some contact with one of the Speed Force-sponsored HPS Motorsports trucks. So there's been some beating and banging at the front of this field early, and a lot of drivers with used-up tempers already. Stefan Marinac, though, none of that. He's the race leader. Pace car eases back onto pit road, and we're headed for another American Ethanol restart as the green flag flies once again. Marinac to the lead as they cross the stripe and going to go wheel to wheel with his teammate C.J. LeVere, the pole sitter, on the outside. Going to try to make it stick. No, he drops in line as Speed Force goes 1, 2, 3. Marinac from 10th to lead it off turn 2.
Cole already up to the 4 spot. He's right on that back bumper of the 68 of Scott Simley, further afield behind them. The 90 of Ross Cato tries to sniff to the inside of the 40 of Scott Bolster. He took 2 tires. Look for him to fall off here in the early running. The 66 of Brian Harvey tries to claw his way back around the 21 of Matt Lacrosse, and he's certainly trying to make his march here on the restart here. And the Mobile 1 Chevrolet trying to do the best he can, but Matt Lacrosse, no stranger to doing well here in the trucks. He's got that outside line working, but he's got to find a way to get around the 40 of Scott Bolster, and does change his lanes on him. Goes to the inside of Bolster as they go wheel to wheel for that A spot.
Hello, side draft ahead of him. Chad Cole's going to get the 2-for-1 special off turn 4. He gets around. Scott Simley gets all the way up to the door of C.J. LeVere for that 2nd spot and going to bring Justin Michael with him. 8 and 4 get really close, almost make a little bit of contact in turns 1 and 2. LeVere leaning on him, and Cole going to wisely back out of that one for a brief moment. Now surges back to the inside, but LeVere sliced down to the bottom of the racetrack and make it a 6-truck scramble for the lead as they work off turn 4. Tim Matthews has joined the fray in the 54, and Behind, not these guys, not too far, but look at the 90 of Ross Cato. That's one of Chad Cole's chief challengers for the championship, Justin, and he's quietly moved his way up into the 7th position, doing a nice job at keeping himself alive in this championship fight with 2 to go after tonight.
Yeah, just doing what he can, keeping his nose clean, and really trying to do the best he can. And he's acquitted himself very nicely here in the early stages of the race, coming around here in just a few laps to kind of mark the 1/3 point of the race. Actually, we're just past that 1/3 mark, actually. So Marinak still out front. Lavere trying to ride both the outside and the inside lines, trying to bring along his HPS teammate, Scott Sibley, as Sibley clears the 8 for just a moment, and Cole trying to just roll that inside, trying to gain the inside back on Sibley as those two go wheel to wheel again, 4th, 3rd, and right behind them, Matthews and Cato and Michael all trying to hold tight, but they're trying to cling to these front 4 guys, and these guys really starting to swap positions here. Top 8 underneath the blanket.
Well, we're starting to see that outside lane really rubber up a little bit, Justin, and I think that's what it's making that pay so many dividends right here. Normally you wouldn't see that, but here at Charlotte, if you can get some of the rubber down and start to form that outside groove, you can make the passes work up there and really have that as another option, and we're seeing that by a few guys. Eberhardt's made it work at different points tonight. Cody Gibson was one early in the race that really made it work, and now Scott Simley's trying to make something happen, and he's really attacking the back deck lid of his teammate CJ Lavere for second. I'm going to say that 68's got something to say about this here a little bit later on in this run. Looking very sporty here right now.
Sporty indeed. He got a little bit loose that time out of 4. Going to lose a little bit, and I mean just a little bit of time to Lavere as he's just riding content in 3rd. But, you know, he's got Chad Cole breathing down his neck. You got to wonder if somebody's going to start his march to the front here sooner or later, or if Chad Cole's going to be the guy that's going to be the first one to flinch a little bit, if you will, or blink, and really kind of use that outside line once again. And like you said, he used that 2-for-1 special once. What's going to make you think that he's not going to do it again? If I'm Chad Cole, I'd get up there and do the best I can to use that side draft. And there he goes, looking to the outside on Sibley once again on the front straightaway.
This time by, when they get back to the stripe, it is going to be 50 of 125 laps complete. Stefan Marinak, CJ Lavere, Scott Simley run 1, 2, 3, just as they did following pit stops, Chad Cole and now Tim Matthews. The rest of the top 5 followed by Justin Michael, Ross Cato, Matt Lacrosse, Brian Harvey, Aaron Bennett. The top 10. Top 8 run within 1 second. We're going to step aside here on LSRTV and continue the action in just a few minutes. From Charlotte Motor Speedway, you're watching LSRTV coverage of the RSR Outlaw Truck Series. We'll be right back.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks in terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month and some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among the best in the business. I'm proud of our people and what they can achieve. Trucking is in my blood, it's my livelihood, and it's what I do best.
While lions are notorious for their voracious appetites, they spend a great deal of time feeding other creatures. In fact, lions will take great care to ensure there's plenty to go around. As you can see, they keep giving with utter ferocity. Bravo, lions, and bon appetit. Do good, be a lion.
Welcome back to LSRTV, the voice of sim racing from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Stefan Marinak, CJ LeVere, Scott Simley, still your race leaders. No change among the top three from the time we went to commercial break versus the time that we're looking at right now, though we are 2 laps away from halfway when they come back to the stripe. 60 of 125 complete. And I'd say, Justin Rosenau, this is a little bit of show of dominance by these HBS Motorsports cats, because they really have impressed me here early on tonight.
Yeah, it's going to remains to be seen, though, if these guys can hang on to their trucks as well as they have. I mean, LeVere probably has a little bit of door damage from getting into a few other trucks, but Marinak clean on that truck as well. Simley's got his hands full. Justin Michael trying to work all over the back deck lid of that 68 machine, and he's working to the inside of Simley. Simley almost going to force him down into the grass as they go side by side on the front straightaway. Give the edge to Justin Michael now. Michael all the way up now to the 3rd spot for the first time, and Michael slowly but yet quietly marching his way up towards the front as he solidly has that 3rd spot. He's got his sights set on LeVere, and he's not got a whole long way to go as Cole tries to bring along another spot or two as he tried to slide underneath the 87 of Michael, and he's going to lose a lot of ground because Simley's going to roll back around him. Looks like he just simply got loose there in 3 and 4.
Yeah, and as we work our halfway lap here at lap number 63, we want to take this opportunity for an LSRT midway race break.
And running up front right now will be the 96 of Stefan Marinak, and right behind him, the 4 of CJ LeVere rides second. The 87 of Justin Michael rides third. He's challenging for that 2nd spot. 68 of Scott Simley running 4th, and 5th, the 8 of Chad Cole. 54 Tim Matthews rides 6th. 7th to the 21 of Matt Lacrosse. 90 of Ross Cato rides 8th. 9th to the 66 of Brian Harvey, and 33 Aaron Bennett rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, behind them it gets a little bit more fun as we continue through the field. The 40 of Scott Bolster in 11th. 89 Daniel Eberhardt from the back of the lead lap all the way up to 12th now. He's been quietly sneaking his way through. Chad Coleman in the 20th, 13th, 14th to the 94 of Thomas George, and Stephanie Lessentine is 15th, 16th to Corbin Hemstreet. 17th is Bobby Wetzel. 18th is Alex Bergeron. 19th to Doug Roth, and 20th Mark Bratcher.
21st to the 5 of Christopher Gore. 13 Travis Burks is the last car on the lead lap in 22nd. 4 laps down in 23rd. The 7 of Cody Gibson. The 9 of Anthony DeBarro, 24th. 84 Jimmy North, 25th. 26th, 34 Ken Baum. 04 Rodney Perry, 27th. 28th to the 24 of Mike Kelly. And 36th Sean Haverly. He's going to be your 29th and final truck. He's out of the event as well.
That's a look at your Ford Performance full field rundown here as we cross 65 laps complete. Ford, an official partner of iRacing, and as we get ready to close out our iRacing midway race break, Justin, just a quick thought from you on some of what we've seen here early in the going, because now I think for the first time all night we're seeing a very big lead breakout for the driver out in front, Stefan Marinak. This is the biggest lead we've seen from anybody all night, 1 1/4 seconds.
Yeah, but you also have to remember, too, a lot of these drivers behind them have had to mix it up quite a bit and really kind of use up their tires. So Marinak out there in clean air, and clean air is so huge in a track like this. If you're Marinak, you're just trying to ride along, and if you're Justin Michael, you're just trying to put down smooth, clean laps and try to drive away from the guys behind you, mixing it up and see if you can really start to reel in Marinak. But Marinak just pulls out another 10th over Justin Michael, and I really have to say, Jacob, that's really impressing me to be this far into a run almost 30-some laps as Michael clobbers the wall. That's really something here because he's really starting to put one on everybody. And like you said, he's going, and finally gone.
So we're past halfway now, which both gives us the opportunity to step away here on LSRTV and go non-stop so you don't miss a thing. Stefan Marinak, your leader, as Chad Cole. Where did he come from? Storms up to second and going to be the new challenger, albeit nearly 2 seconds behind your race leader, Justin Michael, CJ LeVere, and Matt Lacrosse. The rest of the top 5 from Charlotte Motor Speedway. You're watching LSR TV, the voice of sim racing.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks in terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental US, including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month and some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among the best in the business. I'm proud of our people and what they can achieve. Trucking is in my blood, it's my livelihood, and It's what I do best.
Welcome back to LSRTV, and taking a look at a replay that is the reason we're under caution with 51 laps to go. Trouble between the 33 of Aaron Bennett and the 94 of Thomas George, and a couple of different caveats to this, Justin, but a lot of contact, and George was slightly incensed over the radio and said the 33 wasn't giving him any room, and he basically had enough.
Yeah, and that's really all we can use to really describe that, because the initial incident on the back straightaway, and I say initial because there was 2 points to this, and just looks like the 94 of George just drove right into the door of the 33 of Aaron Bennett, and Bennett hard into the inside wall, along with the 94 of Thomas George. And you're being shown right now the second incident where on pit road, the 33 of Aaron Bennett was trying to get into his pit box. Thomas George comes flying down pit road and just slams the back end of that machine into the wall. And from all guesses, Jacob, Thomas George been called to the big red hauler.
Yeah, he went ahead and parked it before the series had a chance to tell him to park it. So done for the evening are both drivers, and what this is going to do is set up a restart with Stefan Marinak and Chad Cole on the front row as the field is doubled up and working into turn number 4. The pace car going to ease back onto the pit lane, and this American Ethanol restart coming with 50 laps to go. Marinak on the loud pedal. Green flag flies, and Chad Cole, Matt Lacrosse, 2 teammates, going to be left to duke it out for that number 2 position. Cole tried to slice down underneath. Matt Lacrosse says, "Hello, I'm here, excuse me, pardon me, coming through." He'll take second.
Cole going to almost cross him over there out of turn number 2. He's literally shoving the 21 of Matt Lacrosse down the back. Straight away to 68 of Scott Simley, going to throw a block on the 87 of Justin Michael, who, by the way, desperately needed that caution flag because he got up into the outside wall and really put some hurting on that race truck. He's got that damage fixed. He's back up inside the top 5, and he's battling Scott Simley really hard for that 4 spot as he's inside, as those two trucks, actually 4 trucks now, side by side by side by side, all 4 of them duking it out for that 4th spot.
Yeah, and as they do that, it's going to allow some of these guys to start to break away. We go on board now with the 68 of Scott Simley, who again was our winner in Daytona, has been solid all season long, and right now rides in that 4th position as he looks to break away just ahead of this battle, and that is now 2 by 2 behind them. I mean, Justin Michael and Tim Matthews nearly get together off turn number 2. I'm telling you, there wasn't an inch between those 2 trucks, and Michael now going to work on the 68 assembly, that Battlefield Toyota off turn number 4. They go door to door for position number 4 as they cross the stripe.
Yeah, those 2 still lockstep on the racetrack as they run, and Eberhardt snuck his way up into this battle. Those 4 trucks all trying to work their way for that 4 spot. Chad Cole right ahead of them in 3rd, and the 87 of Justin Michael. Ooh, puts a slide job, if you will, and just shaved the entire front end. That's all I can really say, Jacob. There was not a half an inch or even a quarter inch, I bet you, between himself and the 68 of Simley, and Eberhardt now on the charge to try to take advantage of that.
Meanwhile, up front, the battle for the lead as we work lap number 80. Matt Lacrosse has found the back deck lid of Stefan Marinak. He's on the charge and ready to make something happen here as he is looking for the lead, takes a peek to the inside, now takes a peek a half a groove higher than Marinak does as they work off turn number 4. No dice that time around. They still fall in lockstep formation. Marinak leading Lacrosse 1-2. They've got about 10 truck lengths over the 8 of Chad Cole. Here comes Lacrosse. He's up top. He wants a piece of the lead. May have a run off turn 2.
May have a run. He got a big piece of that outside wall, though. The Elwell, Michigan native just almost bought the farm there out of turn number 2, and Stefan Marinak doing the best he can to try to hold him off. I'm going to see if that damage starts to play in effect, because I've seen about a half a truck length open up between these 2 drivers, and driving truck, something not necessarily all that strange to Matt Lacrosse, as he's going to try to look to the outside of Marinak for the race lead here, and we're inside of 45 laps to go here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Lacrosse still hanging tough but that gap's starting to open up now. It's one truck length entering turn 3.
They continue to go at it as Chad Cole falls a little further back. You gotta wonder if Lacrosse may give up the outside and try to force a move to the inside here in the next couple of laps, but Marinac has been glued to the white line, and now we're seeing it again up on that couple-story banking in turns 1 and 2. He just loses so much time with Marinac running the bottom, or maybe not so much distance that he loses. That truck length gap that Marinac builds running the shorter lane around is just so much to overcome in that short run off the exit of turn number 2.
I think what we could really build it up to is that the outside line not quite as developed down in turns 1 and 2 versus what it is down in 3 and 4, because down in 3 and 4, Lacrosse looks like a world beater, but you go through turns 1 and 2, that inside line where Marinac's been running looks like he's got the world to beat, and really, Marinac looks strong. As he's starting to drift up ever so slightly off that white line, I think he really senses that Lacrosse really trying to use that high line to his advantage through 3 and 4.
41 laps to go as they cross the stripe that time. Lacrosse maybe in that quad oval taking a peek down to the bottom of the racetrack through the quad oval. Just can't make it work. How about the run this time off turn number 2? He's there down the back straightaway. Marinac got a little bit loose, I think, and that's going to Matt Lacrosse needed new leader on lap 85, coming to 40 to go. The Fox, number 21 of Matt Lacrosse, out in front of the field now and opens up a 5-truck length gap just like that.
Makes you wonder if the 96 of Stefan Marinac could be saving something, or his truck really starting to fade away here in the latter stages of this race, as he's just looks like Lacrosse found 5th gear, if you will, and he's just driving away from the field. Opened up a 1/10 of a second over Chad Cole, who rides 3rd, and Justin Michael, to his credit, in 4th. He's trying to sniff the back decklet of Chad Cole. He's right there inside of a truck length. Eberhardt trying to come along with, and Scott Sibley just on the edge of the top 5. He's just sliding a little bit further back at Eberhardt, though, because Eberhardt right there along with Michael trying to get around that 8 of Chad Cole.
Yeah, and that battle is going to rage now. Pretty good one shaping up for that 3rd position. All that, though, happening about 3/4 of a second behind Stefan Marinac in 2nd, and then it's another 5 truck lengths ahead to the race leader, that orange 21 truck of Matt Lacrosse, who out in front now by just over 4/10 of a second. Keep an eye, though. How about the run back through the field? It's taken him 50 laps to get back there, but Daniel Eberhardt finally back inside the top 5, Justin, and he's trying to work Justin Michael for that 4th position, doing a nice job and very impressive comeback.
Impressive indeed, and I think he's just biding his time. He knows he's got quite a ways to go yet. You know, we're coming up around 35, call it 37 to go right now at the stripe, and he's still got a lot of time to get there. But we're clicking laps off in the sub 30-second range, so I mean, we're talking not that long of a time left in the race. And Eberhardt sneaks a peek to that outside line. He's got the right half of his truck moving to the outside, kind of cross him over a little bit maybe, but Michael going to shut the door on Eberhardt through 3 and 4. And those two still nose to tail with their race trucks as Chad Cole tries to sneak away from this battle as he's opened up a gap of about a truck length and a half over the 87 of Justin Michael.
All this going on 35 laps from the finish as we continue to watch a bunch of battles try and shake their way out. Top 10 within 3 seconds of one another, but Matt Lacrosse is the race leader. We're going to step away here on LSRTV, go nonstop one more time, and come back and take you home after this from Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. Welcome back to LSRTV, closing in on the final 25 laps of tonight's 8th round of the Real Sim Racing Outlaw Truck Series, presented by Hippie's Paint Shop, Jacob Seelman and Justin Rosenau in the LSRTV and Inside Sim Racing broadcast tower, watching a great battle for third, 3 wide, going into turn number 1. Daniel Eberhardt makes a dive up the middle of the racetrack. Matt Lacrosse has to be the one to bail out. Eberhardt's going to go from 5th to 3rd in one fell swoop. By the time they get to turn number 3, you want to talk about a driver that's on a mission. After some early damage set him back to 21st, he is making some unbelievable maneuvers right now, Justin, to try and make something happen. We get a late race caution. I'm convinced this kid's got a shot to win the whole thing.
Oh, without a doubt. And, you know, he just, like you said, he put on a wild man move, drove around the outside, and had to make somebody flinch to make it happen. And Eberhardt really trying to show if he's got the truck that it takes to go catch the 96 of Marinac. And while we were away, I had made a comment just before we went away that I thought Marinac was saving his stuff, and sure enough, not 5 laps after we went to commercial, and Marinac just drove around Lacrosse like he was just standing still. So I really think Marinac was just trying to hold his stuff off to try to keep the 8 of Chad Cole, who's running second at the moment, away from his back bumper. And I really think Eberhardt has a good truck, but I don't think he has the tires. And like you said, he needs a late race caution in order to have a shot at this.
Yeah, I think he does. I don't think Cole can get really any closer than what he's gotten right now. It's been about 0.8 of a second for the last little while, as we've got now 23 laps to go across the stripe. But Daniel Eberhardt about 1/10 slower per lap than Marinac, and this kind of a performance really, it doesn't surprise me, Justin, from a standpoint of, Marinac's the defending champ. He's not had the best of seasons during this Winter Truck Series, but by gosh, when he can get the right truck underneath him and when he can get the right brakes, he can run away with the best of them, and that's what we've seen tonight. This has been a dominating performance from 10th to the lead, and once he's gotten the lead, he really, I don't think, has been challenged by much of anybody all night long.
No, he hasn't. I mean, if you look at the definition of domination, there's Stefan Marinac's picture right next to that word. And how about somebody that I want to highlight for just a moment? The 41 at Corbin Hemstreet. Where in the world does he come from? Started 29th up to 6th, and he's got Matt Lacrosse in his sights. And Corbin Hemstreet, he's got a good run going. He's really kind of marching around, and Lacrosse just lets the 41 at Hemstreet go 29th to now 5th for that driver in the 41. Good on you, Corbin, because it's good to see him get back up on the wheel once again here in the Outlaw Truck Series.
Where Corbin has been all race, he was basically waiting to see if everybody at the front of the field was going to go crazy and wreck each other. At the end of it, though, he said he was going to know when it was time to go, and I guess he's decided it's time to hit the button. Up to 5th, and is still continuing to charge forward. Just been really a great resurgence over the course of the night, and definitely a bright spot for Boomtown Sim after Anthony DeBarro got wrecked out of this race fairly early on. But I'm watching that gap. Chad Cole was 1/10 quicker than Stefan Marinac last time by. You gotta wonder, we're now just inside of 20 to go, 19 laps to go, Justin. You can't help but wonder if Cole's not messing with him just a little bit, and maybe doesn't have a little bit left in the tank himself.
Well, you got to wonder about the fuel situation, too. It was 50 laps to go when we went green flag racing on the last restart, and, that gap's opened up a little bit again, but if you're Marinac, I mean, are you trying to save tires and fuel? Because, yeah, we're still inside of 20 laps to go coming up. I want to say 18 to go this time by, and I really want to say, Jacob, if you're Marinac, you still got a little saving to do. Especially considering, fuel and tires and anything else. Is Cole just, trying to put down a good lap here and there to see if he has the truck? I really don't know, but it's these top 2 for the moment, because nobody else is close.
Working on back to the 77 STEMX entry of Stephanie Lessentine now, and side by side, that's a battle for the 8th, 9th, 7th, 8th, and 9th positions as Lessentine working around the 54 of Tim Matthews right now and trying to get underneath the 68 of Scott Simley. And now Lessentine going to be clear of Simley off the exit of turn number 2. Nice charge for her as well. Started 18th and really was mired back around the teens for most of this race and has come alive here the last few minutes. Got a truck win here on LSRTV a week ago and now trying to continue to make that rise work as she goes on Matt Lacrosse for the 6th position now. Great late race charge for that 77.
Yeah, good for her, and she really needed a good run. She's not had the best of luck, especially in the Outlaw Truck Series, and, you know, good for her. Good to see her get a good run because she really needs it. But how about the 66 of Brian Harvey? He's not giving up for nothing. He's working to the inside of Scott Simley. Looking to the inside of the 54 of Tim Matthews. He almost took 2 trucks in one corner. I think he got a little bit loose. He had to back out of it because Simley and Matthews are just rocketed right back around him.
Now, up front, you're not missing a whole lot. The gap from Stefan Marinac, the race leader, to Chad Cole in second, now 9/10 of a second. It's been fairly stable the last few minutes, and, you know, I'm now starting to believe with just 14 to go when they come to the stripe, I'm starting to believe in what Stefan Marinac is doing, and unless we get a caution, Justin, I really don't know that there's anybody that's going to run him down.
Oh, I really don't think so either. I mean, we're coming up, let's see, 13 to go this time by, and Lessentine just put down, I believe, the fastest lap that time around. She's got a good race truck, but does indeed need a caution. 4.5 seconds off the race leader. Corbin Hemstreet, he's running down the 87 of Justin Michael and the 89 of Daniel Eberhardt. Hemstreet with a very good race truck so far in this late stage of the run, and he's running this time by a 30.71. And Marinac 30.67, so he's not that far off the leader's pace.
No, and I think he's gonna.
And as Marinac just holds that 7/8 of a second lead, about 0.875 or so, and we'll see what it updates to this time around. Going to put lap 113 in the books. Going to be 12 laps to go this time by at the stripe, and that gap going to open up just a shade, almost 9/10 of a second, Jacob.
And you know, Justin, we continue to watch behind the race leaders as well, and you were talking about Corbin Hemstreet a minute ago. I'm fairly convinced he can get to 4th, maybe get to 3rd before the end of this race. He's just running very smooth right now, and a podium finish after where he started tonight would be no small feat at all.
Oh, no, not with the list of drivers we got here in the Outlaw Truck Series here for Real Sim Racing this time around. 11 laps to go, 10 laps to go next time by. Hemstreet's going to have to press the go button because Michael's kind of stabilized that gap, and Eberhardt's starting to drive away from these two just a bit, so Hemstreet going to have to put the hammer down and stand on that loud pedal if he wants to get around the 87.
Yeah, just 15 miles remaining now as Hemstreet on to work for that 4th position.
As the 87 of Justin Michael tries to shut the door on the 41 at Hemstreet. Hemstreet's going to try to go the long way around, high, wide, and handsome around the outside. The 87 of Michael comes up the block and take the air off the nose of Hemstreet in that Race Chaser Online Chevrolet. Boomtown Sim alongside that entry, as well as that is the team that Corbin Hemstreet races for. The 87 of Michael just rides the middle through 3 and 4 this time around. 9 laps to go. Justin Michael still holding strong there in the 4th spot, but he's got Hemstreet all over the back bumper.
Yeah, he does, and this is one that doesn't look like it's going to close up or going to go away anytime soon here, closing in on 8 laps to go when they get back to the stripe. What this has done, though, is allowed Daniel Eberhardt away from these guys by about 7 trucks and allowed the 77 of Stephanie Lessentine to close in on these two. The longer Hemstreet cannot get by the 87 of Michael as he takes a peek to the inside. Michael throws the block on him. Hemstreet ready to go, gives him a tap into turn 1. I don't know that he was too pleased with that maneuver.
Michael being very aggressive, trying to protect himself in that 4th spot. Lessentine 1/10 of a second faster than your leader, Stefan Marinak, and she really does have the fastest truck on the property at this stage of the run, but a caution flag in just a couple of laps, and that's going to end it. So Hemstreet tries to give the bumper, and he's going to go down into the grass, left sides into that grass. Is Michael a little bit displeased with that? He's going to try to use the lap truck as a pick, and Michael not having any of it. He's going to try to run it 3 wide, and does so through the middle. Hemstreet and Michael side by side on the back straightaway.
Yeah, and that was almost disastrous. The 13 of Travis Burks got into the wall, and caution flag flies. The 40 machine of Scott Bolster coming to 6 laps to go. Bolster in trouble, and this is going to set up a green-white checker finish. Huge damage for Bolster on the back straightaway. Gonna get a look at the replay right now, Justin, and there was a second truck involved in all this skirmish as well.
Yeah, the 04 Rodney Perry in 23rd, 55 laps in arrears, and he's going to be involved with that as well. Big damage, though, for the 40 GoDaddy Chevrolet of Scott Bolster, and this is going to set up a crucial decision. Are you going to pit, take 2 tires, take no tires? What's going to happen? Because it is a green-white checker, and 2 tires can probably hold them off for 2, but I really don't think no tires is going to hold off anybody.
Stays out, Hemstreet stays out, Cole brings a train down pit road. This could get real fun real quick, boys. Chad Cole leading a pit party down to get service for the final time. I think you gotta take at least 2, if not take 4, and as many of them as came down. I think you go ahead and, well, Cole's gonna take 2 and get out in the way here. Oh, this just got real fun. This just got real fun, Justin, let me tell you.
Yeah, 4 tires for the 87 of Justin Michael, 4 tires for the 21 of Matt Lacrosse, and Tim Matthews also, I believe, going to take 4 tires. So, going to be just about 1 driver, maybe 2 with just 2 tires. Everybody else there on back has 4, and this is going to get wild, and I have no doubt this thing is probably going to end under the caution flag because as it stands, 4 drivers, no tires, 1 driver, 2 tires. So from everybody there on back, 4, and it's anybody's guess what's going to happen.
I think Cole thought more guys were going to take 2, but I'll be honest, if I'm Chad Cole and I brought that many guys in my rear view mirror down with me to pit road, I'd have taken 4 tires easy.
Oh yeah, especially knowing you'd be starting up near the top 5, and 4 tires are going to be some 1.5 seconds faster per lap under regular green flag conditions. Yeah, green-white checker, but that's enough to go ride the 3rd lane up against the fence and put yourself in victory lane, I think.
Yeah, and I'm gonna cue into Cole's radio here in just a second and see if I can't listen into why the call. And for Stefan Marinak and Daniel Eberhardt, this is where you basically put your money where your mouth is, as the old saying goes, Justin, because you got to get up on the wheel and haul it right here. You got 3 miles and a hornet's nest behind you that's ready to pounce.
That hornet's nest, I think we got a bunch of angry bears behind them, because I really have to say that if you're somebody like Stefan Marinak, Daniel Eberhardt, Corbin Hemstreet, or Stephanie Lessentine, those 4 drivers, 0 tires. Chad Cole, the only driver on 2 tires, and I believe the 66 of Brian Harvey, Matt Lacrosse as well, all up in there with 4 tires. So Chad Cole, 4 tires, and 2 tires. He's going to have to hope that somebody makes a mistake, but he does have the advantage of being on the inside line, especially with those tires, but he might get bottlenecked up. It's really going to be anybody's guess. 54, Tim Matthews, might be the guy that I'm watching on this restart.
It's going to be interesting to see. I have to admit, though, even with 2 tires, I like Chad Cole being on the inside lane. I don't think the outside lane goes very well on this restart, and I think that is going to be a little bit of an advantage for the driver of that 8 truck. I'm hearing at least that the 54 of Tim Matthews, it sounded like over the radio, took 2 as did the 20 of Chad Coleman. Justin Michael getting 4 tires here, so there's a little bit of tire parity up in these first 4 rows, but anybody's guess what's going to happen as we close in on the finish. Green, white, checker. But the catch is, once the green flag comes out, the next flag ends the race. It's Marinac and Eberhardt on the front row, on old tires, with a hornet's nest behind them. And if you're just tuning in here on LSRTV, you picked a whale of a time to do so. 2 laps to glory as Marinac leads the field off turn 4, and the pace car not going to ease to pit road. It's going to dive there as we get set to go. American Ethanol, green flag for the final time tonight. Marinac gets away. Chad Cole ready to rock it, and we're down to turn number 1 with just a handful to go.
Up through the gearbox for the final time as we come around through turns 1 and 2. 70 Lessentine almost collects the wall. Bad restart for her. She's getting shuffled through the pack. Chad Cole, first driver on 2 tires. He's right there, and he's into the back of Corbin History. He dives to the bottom. 3 wide out of 4. Trouble! Marinac goes around. Caution flag in the air. Chad Cole going to win this one, I believe.
No, Justin Michael got through to the line first. Eberhardt, I think, may have been out in front. It's going to be a mad scramble, figure out who was out in front, and going to be credited with this one. Marinac got up into the loose stuff, tagged the wall, and I think, oh boy, I'm going to have to, I'm rolling back the tape, Justin. I know Michael was scored the leader at the flag, but it's anybody's guess. That was a mess.
Replay up on your screen, you're just going to see a mad scramble there. Yeah, Michael got to the line first, but the 54, Tim Matthews, was out in front, I do believe, when the caution flag was scored. It's going to be anybody's guess to see what happens here as Eberhardt in the 54 machine of Matthews collected up very big here. So coming around this time by out of 4, who's it going to be? It looks like it will be indeed the 54 of Tim Matthews for the win.
Wow. Who would have thunk it? Tim Matthews was in the right place at the perfect time. Somehow gets through to win this race. I've not seen one end quite like that in a long time, Justin. And Tim Matthews has got to be sitting here going, how did I just do that?
Yeah, a head scratcher at least, and I got to tell you, I mean, I'm still half confused myself with trying to figure out just who was scored where and at what time. And yeah, iRacing did get it right eventually, but it looked like for the moment Chad Cole was the guy that was going to sneak through, and I did not see Justin Michael sneak through beyond everybody else. But going to have to see what race control is going to call the cause of the caution there. It might be the 96 of Marinac, might be the 89 of Eberhardt. So these results unofficial as we get ready to head to the post-race show.
Matthews gets to burn it down. Now that's a well-deserved celebration right there. Matthews the winner at Charlotte, and we're going to process all this and come back for the post-race show in a few minutes. An unbelievable finish at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and we'll break it down right after this. You're watching LSR TV, the voice of sim racing. Welcome back to LSRTV, getting set for tonight's post-race show, and an unbelievable finish at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Justin and I going to get ready to bolt down trackside, but Justin, before you head down there to join me, holy cow! I mean, we're still trying to figure all this out. What we do know is Tim Matthews just stole a very well-deserved first Outlaw Truck Series win in one of the most thrilling finishes I've seen on an intermediate track in quite some time.
Yeah, that's without a doubt. And for Eberhart, you have to wonder, he was right there and just in the wrong place at the wrong time as Matthews snuck to the inside of Eberhart, who collected into the wrecking truck of, I do believe, the 96 of Marinac. And Marinac, just tough luck, got up in the gray stuff and just lost it all the way up in the fence. And for Eberhart, there was just no place to go. And, for him, you have to wonder. And I just have to wonder, and if you're Justin Michael, you thought you won this thing because you beat everybody in the line there on the caution flag. And Jacob, you caught up with him. Let's get his thoughts on this story.
Yeah, just made it down trackside to chat with the driver who led the white flag lap under caution, and it didn't quite pan out with when the moment of caution occurred. But Justin Michael, you snuck through there. I know it says third on the score sheet, but you had to be thinking for about 30 seconds there, rolling around waiting for the pace car going, did I just win this thing?
Man, I went to turn one and I saw that I was the leader, and I'm thinking the yellow didn't. You should. I stream my races, and I'm sure everybody's.
Your mind when Stefan's leading this race, and all of a sudden he socks the wall and he's coming down off the banking in turn 4.
I knew going into 3 something was going to happen. I just didn't know exactly where, and I was trying everything I could not to wreck Chad because I didn't want him, because my teammate and I didn't want him to lose the points lead. So I know I got into the back of, I think, Tim, who I believe won, and I know I turned him into the wall, and iRacing still gives him the win. So it was a crazy finish. I just wish it could have been a 1-lap shootout because we would have had it instead of a 2-lap shootout.
I know it's got to be a little heartbreaking. You were so close tonight, Justin, but there's got to be optimism, at least from you, knowing that this was the night where it feels like it's all starting to finally come together for you, because it's been tough at the end of these races for you to be able to put it all together through no fault of your own. Does it feel good to at least finally get the result after a few weeks of being close and just not having things go wrong late in the going?
It does. We've definitely had some bad luck here lately, and so this will hopefully change the momentum around. I think we're going to Vegas next week, which I always run real good at. So hopefully we'll be able to pull out a win next week.
7 crew, I know you probably got some shout outs to give and people to thank.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my new teammates, Chad, Matt, and Jimmy, and I thank the guys at AR15.com watching watching your broadcast and watching my stream. So I think I had 3 or 4 people watching my end card too. So we'll go get them next week.
A bit of heartbreak there, but Justin Michael comes up and finishes third tonight in a wild finish. We're going to go a little bit further up pit road, though. Justin Rosenau, I believe you've caught up with the guy who's did everything but win a third race on the season tonight, Daniel Eberhart. 21st, middle of the way through the race, back to second at the checkered flag.
Alongside the driver, the number 89, Daniel Eberhart. And, you've been very good in the Outlaw Truck Series. You showed your strength tonight. You led a few laps. You had a little bit of bad luck. Fixed your damage, went to the back, drove back to the front. You just happened to be in the wrong place in the wrong time. Tell us what happened.
Well, coming through 3 and 4, I guess out of everybody that stayed out, I kind of had the best corner going. I seen Marinac push. Would have shot right past him if when he hit the wall, it just shot him right back in the front of me. I think I would have got past him. I'm not real sure, but all in all, tonight was up and down. A little bit aggravated with the with the racing on the racetrack, it's kind of, getting under my skin a little bit, and I got frustrated, and I just cooled off, went to the back, fixed all my damage, and drove back up through the field. And when it came down to that 3-wide move, man, that was the move of the race for me, man. The guy who was helping me and was spotting for me at the end of that, Kenny Baum dude, he was surprised. He was cheerleading all around right there when I made that move, and I feel like Chad's probably got it wrapped up unless something happens to him. So it's just a fight for second now for the points.
Well, never say never. You said, it was up, it was down. Can you be satisfied coming home runner-up?
No. I mean, I love winning, but I hate losing more than I love winning. And that's one thing that I'm out there to do. Even if it's not for a championship, I still want to win. And I had a points race tonight, and the Take-Two Motorsports Upon Gaming Chevrolet, I think, had the best car on the racetrack on the very long run. You get held up from this draft package at these non-restrictor plate tracks and these trucks. It's whoever's in front pretty much going to win it if they don't wear their tires out. And no, I really was discouraged with the finish, but all in all, second place is a good night here at Charlotte.
Well, you mentioned a few people already. You got some more shout-outs. Who do you need to thank for your run up to second?
I got to thank Kenny Baum, and he was a big cheerleader. I got to thank my grandma in the other room watching it. She always loves watching you guys. She says it's almost like the real thing. And I really got to give a big shout out to Ipon Gaming. Man, they built me a top of the line computer, and that's it pretty much.
Came home second. A lot of strong words. Disappointed with his runner-up finish. Says he hates losing more than he loves winning. That's Daniel Eberhardt. And Jacob, you got to be with a guy that's got to be the most surprised driver, I think, in all of iRacing at that finish. You're caught up with the 54, Tim Matthews.
Gatorade Victory Lane's been a little bit fun so far, but I think Tim Matthews is still trying to let the fact that he actually won this race sink in, Tim. Coming off turn 4, all heck broke loose. Talk about and when under that white flag, the call goes through for you to go to the head of this train?
Man, I was pretty shocked. Now, I was just talking to Justin and Daniel. I think I had a pretty good shot at it if the wreck hadn't happened because I was coming through 4 on the bottom with those 2 tires. So I felt like I had enough momentum. I might have won it anyway, but then when they started going everywhere, it's one of those C-fix type finishes, and I just happened to come out on the lucky end of that one.
Talk me through your race, because we really didn't talk about you much at all tonight. Through no fault of your own, just were mired back in traffic a lot of this race, and then that late race caution and being able to come in and get tires, I know, really, really helped you. Was that the call of the race for you?
Definitely. I mean, I was thinking about it coming around. I thought, should I pit? And I thought, well, I really have nothing to lose because I'm sure the guys behind me, I was running about 7th, so I figured there'd be quite a few behind me come in. So I took a shot at it, and it just happened to work out. It's one of those things. You just take a chance, and I got lucky there,
First broadcast RSR victory. I know they say you never quite forget the first one. I'd say with everything that happened tonight, you're not forgetting this one for a while.
Hey, I just want to go watch this broadcast and hear the call of that because I always love to go back and watch the broadcast, and I'm sure you guys did an amazing job on this. So, kind of curious to see how that all played out through your guys' eyes.
It was wild, I'll tell you that, my friend. I know it's a big victory, and there's some people I want to thank. Who makes it happen for Tim Matthews?
Really, first and foremost, my wife. She lets me do it. She has spoiled me with some awesome racing gifts, so you got to give the shout out to her. As far as teammates, I don't really have one. TJ Kelly, who normally runs in the series, he's a teammate on and off, so give a shout out to him and to you guys, do an awesome job.
And it was a well-deserved celebration tonight. Tim Matthews, the winner at Charlotte. For a look at tonight's final Ford Performance full field rundown, we're going to go back upstairs. And Justin Rosenau, let's go through the field one more time, my friend.
You heard from him. Tim Matthews takes home the win. Daniel Eberhardt second. Justin Michael third. The 4th spot goes to the 8 of Chad Coleman, 90 of Ross Cato, 5th, 20 of Chad Coleman, 6th, 21 Matt Lacrosse, 7th, 8th goes to the 77 of Stephanie Lessentine, 43 of Doug Rock climbs up to 9th at the checkered flag, 10th goes to the 5 of Christopher Gore, 11 to the 17 of Bobby Wetzel, 12 to the 13 of Travis Burks, 4 of CJ LeVere finishes 13th, the 14th spot goes to the 68 of Scott Simley, goes to the 41 of in the 16th, 17th to the 96 of Stefan Marinac, 18th to the 40 of Scott Bolster, 19th to the 1 of Alec Bergeron. And rounding out the top 20 will be the 46 of Mark Bratcher, 94 Thomas George comes home 21st, 22nd to the 33 of Aaron Bennett, 24 Mike Kelly finishes 23rd, 24th to the 04 of Rodney Perry, 7 of Cody Gibson finishes 25th, 26th to the 84 of Jimmy North, the 9 of Anthony DeBarro finishes 27th, 28th to the 34 of Ken Baum Jr., and 29th in the last truck to finish tonight, 109 laps down, the 36 of Sean Haverly.
With all trucks that were either heavily damaged or out of this race tonight. But that is a look at your Ford Performance Full Field Rundown, brought to you by Ford, a proud partner of iRacing.com. And as we get set to leave you and move on to Las Vegas, where Sin City will play host to the penultimate round of this year's Outlaw Truck Series, Justin, a wild and wacky one tonight, and a first-time winner. That never gets old. Tim Matthews adds his name to the RSR record books in a big way, and I said it to him in Victory Lane. I think we would agree this is one that's going to stick in the memory banks for a while.
Yeah, it just seemed like as we were going down the back straight, you could feel something was getting ready to blow off, and indeed through 3 and 4 the lid blew off, and what an explosion it was, I gotta say. Because there were just trucks everywhere, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around the end of this race, because let me tell you, I have not seen a finish that wild and crazy in quite a while in all of the series that I've covered.
It for us here tonight on LSRTV, and as always, want to say thanks to Chad Cole, Jimmy North, Brennan Mercer, John Abbott, and all the fine folks at RSR for helping to put this show on, and as well to Hippie's Paint Shop, the presenting sponsor of the RSR Outlaw Truck Series. And for all of us at LSR TV, including my broadcast partner tonight, Justin Rosenau, Andy Kessler, the other voice that normally joins us here on Wednesday nights, and as well tonight, our executive producer, Laura Lawson. I'm Jacob Seelman, reminding you to keep it off the wall until we meet again, and we'll see you next time on the web. Again, congratulations go out to Tim Matthews, the surprise first-time winner in the Queen City. So long from Charlotte. We're headed to Vegas next week. We'll see you there.